I got a scarf idea that I wanted to share with y'all that is very simple and can be done either crochet, hand knit, knitting looms, or on a knitting machine. I first saw this scarf done in fleece, you know, like sweatshirt material, and thought it was really cute. And as I was looking at it, I thought I could do this easily. Actually, I was thinking crochet at the time, but clearly it translates well on an Addi, and since there are less crank knitting patterns, I thought this tutorial will focus on those. So hope you enjoy. Now, the yarn I'm using for this project is Vanna's Choice in Scarlet, Vanna's Choice in Pink, and then I don't have any Vanna's Choice white, so I'm using Jiffy, which is fine. Now we start with the hat, with the red part. So I'll get my Vanna's Choice Scarlet, and this happens to have, where is it? Here we go. 170 yards or 156 meters. And I'm going to use basically the whole thing, just about all of it, on my Addi Professional. But basically you do a regular cast on and you just knit. So if you need help in how to do a basic cast on a knitting machine, then there are a million videos, YouTube videos out there on that. But well, make sure it feeds properly through the little thing. But basically what I'm going to do is just completely knit until this row, this skein of yarn is just about gone. And what I did last time, because I didn't want to run out in the middle of a row, was I stopped. I have some notes over here of what I did, and I stopped at 240 rows of Scarlet Vanna's Choice. It's almost the whole skein. So get to knitting and I'll see you back. Now when you get somewhere around 50 rows or so, your work is going to start touching your table, unless you're fortunate enough to have a way to make this drop down through a hole. And I have seen people on videos who have a setup like that, but I don't, and I don't quite know how I'm going to achieve that, but I'll work on that idea. So until I get a special table, my method is a chip clip. And when I will pull it down and clamp my chip clip on here, and this will give it the weight to drop down beneath the table. I'll show you more in a little bit. Now the chip clip doesn't stop it from getting a little twisted in the inside, if you can see that. See how it's twisting it up? So I'll just take it and give it a twist to make it straight again, and then continue to crank. And you'll see it'll begin to look like a whirlpool, a vortex, and then you just give it a little twist again. Now you can see when it's in action that the weight will actually help turn the work so that you won't have to turn it around. Now it's getting so long it's reaching the floor. So what I will do, what I will do is just clip it up here. And that way it won't touch the floor, though it'll continue to be weighted, and it'll do its little turning, unwinding thing. Okay, I've just completed my 240 rows, and last time I did about 12 or 13 rows here, which is just about equal to his face. I think I'm going to shorten this to about 6 rows. So I am going to change my color just the same way you always do on your Addi. Of course, I could have found my end first. Okay, there we go. Put your tail in there, thread through. I've reset my counter, and slowly I want to add the new color in. And I will go now for 6 rows of white. Just a little note here. You see that gap right there? That's where I added my 2 colors. So what I want to do is tie this closed. This is going to be a tube that we're not going to turn, so these loose ends won't be seen. So I do a little square knot. And because I don't want to stick my hand up in there and turn the thing inside out, I'm going to go ahead and trim these just so there won't be quite so much bulk inside my tube. Okay, I finished the 6 rows of white, which will be his brim of his hat. And now I'm going to do his face. And this is approximately 12 or 13 rows of the pink. So again, you do the whatever the normal color change method is for your machine. I always like to use my black needles as the, sorry, I'm doing it backwards. Put your tail in the middle, let it catch, pop it into the little feeder thing. And then I always go very slowly when I'm starting a new color to make sure everything catches. Oh shoot, I forgot to change my settings. Okay, so now I've completed 1 row, and you can tie your knot whenever you want to. I usually wait till I see it on this side so that I can judge how tightly I'm pulling it. So here I'll do 12 or 13, and then I'll turn it back on, catch up for the next color change. Okay, so I did 13. I'll reset my counter, and now what we're doing is adding his beard. And my notes again say 12 or 13, so I'll probably go 13 or 14, whatever. Because I like the way it comes down to a little tapered edge here, which looks like a nice, neatly trimmed beard. So I may want to incline. No, I think I'm going to do 14. Okay, 14. Okay, I'm at the end. I've cut off the end of the skein, and I'm just going to do your basic bind off method that Addi tells you to do, which is essentially, why do I keep saying that? Essentially threading a tapestry needle on the end of your cut yarn and hooking it through. Actually, I think Addi tells you to go in this way, in this way, in this way. No, that's not necessary. All you're really doing is making a drawstring. So I just kind of pick up several, pull it on through, and keep going. Okay, so just like a hat closure, a gathered hat closure, I'm going to pull it tight, and then I'll secure it so that it doesn't come undone. And then, well, here, I'll just show you. Of course, it would help if I had on some glasses, but okay, so that's done. I kind of run it through a little bit through those edges, just for good measure. And then you can just stick it through there and have it come up anywhere. And then pull it a little tighter, give it a clip, and then it sinks back in there and you can't see it. Okay, so this is what we have. Oh, that's a lot better. Yeah, I like the smaller, I like the smaller brim and then the face and the beard. So, okay. Okay, his little mustache pieces here are approximately the same width as the scarf itself. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm actually very pleased with 5. So I'm going to do 5 roughly 3-inch strips. I really like the placement of his mustache on this one, which happens to be 1 pink row and then 2 pink rows, and it's right there on the top of the second pink row. So, or you could say it's essentially over the third, sewn on top of the third. Now, I don't know what the proper method is for attaching these things, but I'm going to show you essentially what I did. This was the yarn left over from the closure when I did the bind off. And I'm basically tying a knot with the end of it. Okay, so now we have a mustache. Now before I sew on any parts of his face, I want to make sure that the join back here where you can see it's kind of not even looking. I want to make sure that that join is somewhere in the back so that it's not going to be messing up my face. See how much nicer that looks? Now I know people who hand knit know tricks for avoiding that, and if there is a trick on the Addi, I don't know what it is, so sorry. Alright, and we decided this was going to go on the 3rd row. I've got my little mustache spider here, and so I count. Can you see this? 1, 2, and in the 3rd. This looks like it's the middle stitching row, and if it's not, I could make it the middle. Alright, so I pull that right there, and then, now this, again, this is my method. I don't know what the proper way to do this is. And then I'm just going to continue to go around the middle until I feel as though it's secure. Which with this big thick yarn, I think 2 is all it's going to take. I sewed this on with thread. I was thinking that I didn't want it to show very much, but I don't think it matters now that I'm looking at it. Okay, so now I got to figure out some kind of way to knot it without being seen. So I'll probably do it right under here. Oops, kind of got doubled there. Whatever, okay. Where's my handy dandy scissors? And I'll just cut it about as long as the mustache. So he's actually a little thicker, got a little thicker mustache. But that's cute, right? I hope. Alright, now for the eyes. Now the last step is to determine where you want to put your eyes. Now I used 2 little black buttons that I just happen to have, and you know, this is where your little guy has personality. You know, you can place them wider apart, and he definitely takes on a different personality than if they're really close together. And of course, where you place them too can change his demeanor, if you will. So that's easy. You don't need a demonstration on how to sew on buttons. And then on the end, you're doing basically the same thing. You're closing up with the drawstring. You'll sew this closed, hide it in and then stick a pom-pom on the end. And then you're finished, and you will have a Santa scarf. But you can see where this lends itself beautifully to any of the needle arts. You don't have to crochet in the round or even knit in the round if you don't want to. You could do yours wider if you wanted to, but essentially it's just blocks of color. And you have a Santa. So if you're going to loom knit this, I would suggest the blue Nifty Knitter, but just because I like the double thickness of the round, and I think it's a good width. If you want to do a wide flat one, of course you don't have to do it this wide, but you could certainly do it on a flat loom, or if you don't have one of those long looms, you can do it, you know, part way on one of your green, one of your other looms. It doesn't matter what color. I would keep in mind though, if you're going to do it wider, you'll have to probably make the face longer in proportion. So keep that in mind. Changes. I want to do this a little bit thinner, and I did try just a few minutes ago to make some fuzzies to use this, I don't know what it's called, this fuzzy yarn mixed in with some regular yarn. It didn't work. Not at all. Fighting with the tension, how it got so tight with this fuzzy yarn. It's entirely too tight and it's too short. Look. So I don't think I would use this fuzzy yarn again. But also, all the fuzzies are currently on the inside, so you can't see them. So you can work with it a little bit more. But I don't like that. No. So I had to take it apart, and we're on round 2 of this tutorial. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you all the measurements, so if you want to just crochet this, you can pick your favorite stitch, and I'll give you all the measurements for how long that I did it, and you can adjust it according to your needs and what you like. Your arm is tired? Thank you.